creativity is accessible. It is not behind any paywall. There's no gatekeepers to it. We all have access to this river of creation within ourselves. And when we can connect with something that we love and that enables us to get our thoughts and feelings out.
Welcome to the Empowered Woman Podcast, the #1 show on visibility strategies for women entrepreneurs. If you want to get empowered to be seen, stand out on social media, stages, TV, and more to make an impact with your voice and business, you're in the right place. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Marcia Spurk, and I'm your host, professional singer and visibility strategist. Welcome again, and let's dive into today's episode. One thing I don't talk about enough is the impact podcasting has had on my professional life and how it opened so many doors for me. So if you want to start a podcast or you want to level up your current one, then you need to work with my podcast strategist, Juliana Barbati. She owns a podcast marketing and production agency, and her team takes care of everything from editing and optimizing to scheduling for you, making this process a breeze for you. She's seriously the best. All her info is in the show notes. You can go to julianabarbati.com and tell her I sent you. Hi, Eli. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, thanks for having me, Marta.
Yay, I am so excited about this. So I've mentioned you in a couple episodes already. So you are famous.
Ooh.
You're on the show. And then I was like, this happens quite often, actually, where I'm telling a story or I'm talking about something. I'm like, you know what? I should have this person come on the show. And sometimes it's super big, flabbergasting mentors of mine that I'm just like a teeny weeny piece in their program. And eventually it happens. You know, I manifested, and I'm very grateful that you accepted my invitation right away. So thank you so much, because I know you're busy touring the USA, but you made some time. So thanks so much. Anyways, without further ado, tell us who you are and what you do, and we'll jump right in.
Yeah, I'm Eli Lev. I was an 8th grade middle school teacher, and then I got a master's degree in education, thinking that I would be a teacher's teacher, educate other teachers around the world. Then I came back to my hometown, Maryland, just to take care of my family for a bit and couldn't really have space for a full-time job. So I started playing gigs out. And then my friends would ask, when's your next one? And my family would come and say, hey, when's your next show? And then eventually, following the breadcrumbs, about 6 years later, I'm a full-time independent musician, and I tour all over the USA and the world.
That is so amazing. I don't know if I knew that bit about the teacher before. Maybe you did share it in the program, which that's the next step I wanted to get into. So you got back into teaching.
I did. Here I am again.
That's what happens with us teachers. I resonate with that as well.
Yep.
It's just always there. And it's just a transferable skill anyways, with whatever it is that you do. So I'm curious, because when people hear the story, they're like, wow, it happened overnight and it was super easy for you. And now you're this superstar sensation. But obviously, we know that's not how it goes, especially as entrepreneurs. So tell us a little bit more about how then you started understanding the process, because this was one of the things that I learned from you in the course that I took, and I do want to get to that eventually, is that the process for musicians to build their audience is very similar to online entrepreneurs. I mean, being a musician at this day and age is being an online entrepreneur in many ways. So that was fun for me to realize, tapping into a completely different world, there were so many similarities. So tell us more about how you got to where you are now 6 years later.
Yeah, well, it's a very different mindset being an entrepreneur than being a teacher or having a pension or just having a steady job that you can kind of rely on.
Yep.
So different, in fact, that it seems like there's this giant ocean between having a steady income and then like actually going out on your own and trying to make something happen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done it, but my mom, when she retired, she started her own consulting business. And I started hearing things about, oh, she made her own LLC. And I was like, wait, what? You can do that? So to me, I was experiencing her growth into her own entrepreneur space. And that really encouraged me to look into, okay, what would it take for me to create an LLC? What does it mean to be an independent contractor? And how can I set up my business on QuickBooks? What does that look like? Who are my quote unquote customers? They're my quote unquote fans as a musician. What is my product? What's my merch and my live shows and my inner circle that I built out for top fans? So as I started connecting the pieces, I realized how entrepreneurship connected with being a musician and brought both those worlds together piece by piece. And you're absolutely right. It was very scary and very daunting. And I didn't know if I could do it. A lot of imposter syndrome there, but piece by piece, eventually started making it happen and started seeing income come in and profitability. So here I am, 6 years later as a full-time musician.
That's amazing. Now, the other piece, because I want to get into how I connected with you and how you got back into teaching with your coaching, is going into and diving into modern musicians things. I saw what your testimonial. So you went from being a student and learning the process in somebody else's business to then becoming a teacher inside a coach inside that program, which, wow, that says a lot about your results as a student, taking their advice, having amazing results to the point where you can collaborate with such a big and successful company as one of the mentors. So tell us more about how that happened.
Yeah, I mean, really, Marta, you might have picked up on this too, just because you're in the space. It's really about the transfer of knowledge. So the faster I can learn, the faster you can learn, the faster we can just share that with others, essentially. So really, I'm on this sliding scale of knowledge, I feel like. And so wherever I am, I'm always like, okay, how can I learn more? And whenever I synthesize that, I'm able to kind of share that with others. And I think they say somewhere like you learn about 10% what you read, 30% what you hear, 40% what you experience, and like 60 or 70% what you teach.
Yeah.
So teaching is actually a mechanism to really understand experientially what the knowledge is that we're trying to attain. So whether it's doing music lessons or whether it's helping other entrepreneurs, like wherever you're at, there's someone that wishes they were where you are.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So being in that space, and then I realized, okay, I learned a great deal on how to build a business and how to connect with fans. I would love to be in the space where I can share that with others.
So you were the one that approached them. How did that happen? I'm super curious. Or did they realize you're a superstar student and they were like, maybe there's something here?
Yeah, honestly, I was skeptical about everything as a modern musician at first.
Okay.
I was a client first, and they approached me and they said, hey, would you be interested, in this program? And I said, maybe. Then I was in the program for like 2 or 3 months and they're like, hey, we really like what you're doing. Would you be interested in maybe joining the team and being a coach? And I was like, maybe. And then, they kept working on me. And then I absolutely love it. It's my genius zone. I'm in a space where I'm figuring out things that I can do for my own fan communities and then help other artists do the same for theirs. And really, it's really like exponentially impacting the world because I can only do so much between my fan base. But if I can help other artists do what I'm doing with their fan base, then essentially that multiplies the effect. So it's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, that is so cool. By bringing you here on the show, I wanted to get people into this universe that I'm tapping into because I've been talking a lot about it. And you've been a key player in this journey of mine. So I wanted to introduce you to my peeps and obviously have people go and listen to your music because it's so cool.
Yeah.
But I wanted to cover a couple different things. So, because I know as I'm stepping out into this artistic vein, lots of my clients and listeners are like, why not me? Here's Marta. Because they've known me as the coach. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, hold on a second. I'm also the singer and they're thinking about themselves. This is inspirational. Good for you, Marta. But I have had clients now that started, joining choirs because they're like, I'm going to pursue this too. Or they started going back to painting. That was something they used to do before they had kids or whatever. And now they're selling their stuff and they're creating things and they're going into old folks' homes and doing classes. And it's wow, which is exactly what you're just saying. Like I myself can only impact so many people, but if I impact other people into the teaching and coaching, I can impact more people. So I wanted to both talk to the people that are considering going down that route, but also talk to the people that are not. But I wanted them to understand the side of the business that is music so that they can see that business is business and we're all doing it.
Yeah. No, I am so just thrilled to have connected with you. And I love your music and I love your sound and I love the journey that you're on. And that's been inspiring to me. That's another thing that we don't necessarily talk about is like the actual act of teaching is helping myself, like egotistically. Like it's just wonderful to see you kind of blossom into that creative role. And what I see from you and what you might be seeing from your clients as well is that creativity is accessible. It is not behind any paywall. There's no gatekeepers to it. We all have access to this river of creation within ourselves. And whether that's painting or music or physical expression or spiritual expression, I feel like it's just really healthcare. It's free healthcare.
True.
When we can connect with something that we love and that enables us to get our thoughts and feelings out.
Mhm.
For me, if I don't feel good, like I need to express like what's going on inside. So it is a form of healthcare for me. Added on to that, it's also a business and people
Right.
also enjoy it. But number one, it's I have to. It's just this drive. And I feel like that's in a lot of people. And whether it was someone who said that they couldn't or some event that where they thought that they couldn't, that's kind of just stuck there. I really do encourage people to explore that and have their own relationship with their own creativity. It just helps relationships, finance, physical health, mental health. Yeah, really important.
Yeah, I love that. Have you ever read that book by Julia Cameron, The Artist's Way?
No, tell me about it.
Okay, so this is really what got me going into thinking I could do this. Because she talks a
Ah,
lot about exactly what you just said. We are all artists,
yeah.
but we have in many ways kind of suppressed that for whatever reason. And she
Mm,
lists reasons and she has you do so many different exercises into then allowing yourself to pursue this. Because for me, it's like, I can't do this. I'm a mom, I'm in my 30s. How would
mm,
I start? So many people that go into being musicians end up getting divorces or whatever. I don't know.
yeah.
So all these ideas that kept me from doing that. And it was a phenomenal book. So I recommend everyone that's wanting to get into the artistic path or even remotely considering it to go
Yeah.
and read it and take this conversation that we're having a little bit further. But it reminded me of that when you said
Oh,
that.
cool. Yeah, I'll check that too.
Yeah. So let's talk about the business because I threw in modern musician out there, but people that are not in the music world, they have no idea what that means.
Uh-huh.
So I'd love for you to explain that there are people out there that teach other musicians how to build a fan base and how to monetize and how to work it online. Because before the internet was the way that it was, I'm sure things were very different. So tell us more about the business side of music.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Is it a musician model that also works for business people, or is it a
Hmm.
business model that also works for musicians? I'm not really sure, but both are true because what it does is it just kind of utilizes online marketing techniques where we help musicians find a fan base through maybe advertising or live stream or social media or building an email and text list. Then we essentially form relationships between the fan base and the musician or the entrepreneur, however you
Yeah.
want to think about it.
Yeah.
And then build out offers that those fans and those customers really want, that they really find value in. Those offers can be merch package or a VIP bundle, we call it, or a higher tier, like an inner circle, closer access to the artist, or even personal, like, we call them high ticket experiences like retreats or custom songs or anything that's really a personalized experience. And it really is just it's a business model. It's a great business model that brings in music to connection. So really fostering that in an authentic way is what Modern Musician is all about.
Yeah. I love that because it really helped me see beyond what I had been doing for 7 years. Because
Mhm.
go talk to somebody that has a W-2 or is just not in the space. They think you're speaking a different language, like Greek or Chinese or something.
Right.
And then I find this other world and you guys are saying something similar. It helped me realize like this is something that's out there and people are doing it. I'm not crazy. It's
Mm,
an actual way of making a living. And that's how artists make a living. Because I think before all of this, you look at singers and people that you listen to on the radio, you don't really have any idea. You're like, they're celebrities. They found their way. They sent
right.
a demo tape to, and then they went to Nashville or something.
Hmm.
And then this
Hmm.
happened. And this is the other thing too that I love that I've been loving about this journey as an entrepreneur is realizing I can do anything because that's what the online world opens up. Is I will just connect with people. I will learn things and I will get things out there. And the same thing goes for the music. I have realized is I can open up all kinds of channels and find people to collaborate with and record the music and all of that. So this is what I wanted to my audience to hear is there are other people out there like musicians. And I know
Yeah.
there's artists and other people as well that are like painters and things, I mean, that are building a business online using
Yeah.
similar strategies, like you said, building a funnel, having an opt-in page, having an email list, having social media content. And they're
Hmm.
not charlatans or anything. They're people building businesses and offering their
Yeah.
things, much like in the good old days, you would have a shop, a brick and
Yep.
mortar. Cool. Now, something that came up for me, I would love to hear your take on this is so coming from the coaching space and then going into the music space,
Hmm.
the idea of having coaching clients versus having fans, it was a weird but fun concept for me to realize that I didn't necessarily have to create, here's this guide with 5 tips. And that's how they get into my email list. As a musician, it's here's my music. Do you
Yeah.
like it? Then join my world. It's so different. How do you
Yeah.
see that? Because you do both as well. Like I had heard you say in the program that I took that you really enjoyed the coaching portion of it. But how is that for you? Like the balance or what you prefer? I don't know.
Yeah. So there are some similarities there, interestingly enough, where there's like a lead magnet or something, like something that is enticing for somebody to join a list.
Mm.
So for a musician, it could be join my list to get access to live streams or to hear about the behind the scenes of my recording or to hear songs before they come out. So there still is that kind of that gift when people join.
Mm-hmm.
And really that's just the beginning of the establishment of trust and a relationship between a customer and the entrepreneur. So same as a musician, it can be our music, but it's also like what around our music is interesting. So for me, I have like a free plus shipping offer with a CD that they can get when they sign up to the group. And if they get that, then hey, they might be interested in a t-shirt and a poster. Yeah. And if they get that, then it's, oh, wow, you might be interested in my inner circle on Patreon, where you can get all the behind the scenes content with a monthly recurring charge. Mm-hmm. So there are these tiers that people can access with proximity. And it is very similar to entrepreneurship online, just utilizing technology to build relationships and to share offers and to build trust and long-term relationships.
Yeah, so cool. Well, I do want to ask you more specifically what you teach in the course, but I do want to go back to the music for a minute because we didn't talk about that. I was so excited about the business side of things. I'd love for you to share a little bit more about your sound.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Why did you land on this genre and the lyrics and how you create content? How do you compose?
Yeah, it's so interesting, like talking about all this like entrepreneurial stuff, which I love. And it's, oh, wait, yeah, I also write, record, and sing songs. So my sound, I would describe it like Johnny Cash and Stevie Nicks on a road trip through the redwood forests with Ed Sheeran and Jack Johnson in the background. And everyone's hyped up on double espressos, singing along to like folk pop country jams along the way. That's the sound. That's my jam.
So cool. So people have to go and find him on all major platforms. And listen, because you're always releasing new stuff. It's so fun now to understand the behind the scenes and to watch.
Yep.
It's been really cool. What about the process of writing the lyrics? Where do you get inspiration from that? If you want to talk about some of them or your latest release, whatever.
Yeah, I just came back from New York, where I recorded my next album, Past Lives. I am in the middle of a 3 worlds project right now, which includes past lives, present journey, and future myths. Yeah. So this is after my 4 Directions project, which was All Roads East, Way Out West, Deep South, and True North. So obviously you can tell I'm big on themes and branding as well. Mm-hmm. So present journey will be out in the next 2 months. And I just recorded Past Lives. I went really deep on past lives and really explored my family's history, my relationship with my ancestors, past relationships, and how all of those essentially are brought into the present and affect the present moment. So it was a truly epic creative experience. I went way, way down in there, and I'm so excited for the album coming out. So I'm in the middle of my 3 worlds project right now.
Okay, that sounds so cool. And that's the beautiful thing about being a content creator, because that's really what you are as a musician is you can just dive into whatever you decide and for it and put it out there. And the beauty is people will resonate because we're all humans.
Yeah. And I think you might connect
that too, the universal song.
Yeah, that universal song, right? That's out there right now. And Marta, I'm sure you've experienced this too, where it's like, as leaders of our community, we get to bring them along with us to our own journeys. Yeah. And get to introduce new sides of us as we discover ourselves. Yeah. And as we're always in motion, always in a process of discovery and unfolding. I've seen that with you, which is amazing. And your courage and the way that you can express that is fantastic. And what I realized is the best way to do that is to be authentic in email communications, in social media posts, in text, whatever it is. Just say, hey, I'm doing something that's like kind of scary right now. You know what I mean? It's new for me. I'd like for you to come along and you're welcome to. You don't have to, but I did want to share what I'm going through right now. And more often than not, people really appreciate that. And some of them like the new song, some of them don't. And that's okay. It's cool. You didn't like that one. That's all right. There's another one coming in like 6 weeks. So it's all good.
So cool. I love that.
Yeah. And you do that very well with your stories and how you connect with your people. So that's pretty cool to see.
Thank you. Well, I have you as inspiration. Seeing your emails and your texts and all your content out, it's definitely helped me with that. One final question about this part, and then we'll go back to the business and of course. You tour all over. What are some of your favorite cities, or maybe a story, something that happened, and meeting people, fans in person, since you have such a big following virtually too?
Yeah, I'm touring all over the USA this year and into Canada, actually, which is pretty exciting. So if you're hearing this and then you're somewhere in the US and Canada and want to see me live, I've got my tour dates up on my website, eli-lev.com. And touring is wild. Touring is not for the faint of heart. It is 6, 7, 8 hours driving maybe every day. It's 5 to 6, sometimes 7 shows a week. It's 2 months on the road simultaneously, then home for a couple of weeks and then back out again. But the people I meet along the way are just amazing. And I do it because I love it. I've been to the top of Montana where they're like, hey, where's Maryland? It's like, well, it's all the way out or yonder there. And I've been down to Texas and Maine and Florida and California and Nebraska. So it's great to meet folks, and the music translates wherever I am. The songs translate and I'm able to create community. So it's a wonderful process.
That is so cool. All right, let's go back into the actual course, which is music release formula. Am I saying that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us more what that all entails, because maybe there's someone listening that is like, well, Marta, I want to release my music too, and I need some help.
Yeah, it's a wild world out there. It's a new digital age for music. And I found so many of my artists were just asking me questions like, hey, how do I write songs? It's like, well, okay, here you go. How do I record music? Where do I go? It's like, well, you can do it yourself or you can go to a studio. How do I distribute the music once I have it? There are these distributors that you can pick and they can put your music on all the platforms. Yeah. Okay, how do I let people know that my music is out on all the things? It's like, well, you can use social media. You can build an email list and a texting list. It's okay, cool. But then how do I support myself with revenue from this? You build relationships, you create offers, and you share them with your community. Oh, well, how do I keep doing this? Rinse and repeat. So essentially I put all of that I've learned releasing over 50 songs in 6 years into a course and shared that with artists so they could do the same.
And it's so good. It's really the step-by-step. And it's all things just like any other coaching course. Sure, you could Google this and find this information in bits and pieces and DIY it, and it would take you such a long time. But you have all the shortcuts in this course, and plus the community, right? Connecting with other artists and musicians and really seeing, hey, this is possible. Other people are ahead of me, or somebody's just starting out and I'm a few steps ahead of them. That's what I love about being in a coaching group. As a coach, I understand the benefits of that. So that's why I was like, there's no reason for me. I don't have time, first and foremost, to figure it all out by myself.
Right.
And so please give me all of the shortcuts. I've learned enough to know that it is worth the investment 100,000,000%. And it was totally. So
awesome.
Super cool. Amazing. So tell us how people can find you on social media, but also your music.
Yeah, I'm on pretty much all the platforms as Eli Lev Music. So ELILEV MUSIC. And you can just Google me and you'll see my website and some news articles. And I've got a bunch of YouTube videos up there. My tour dates are on my website as well. And of course, my community, the Levitators.
Oh, love that name.
Anyone who's listening is welcome to join. You can see my funnel in action. Yay! I can go to my website and click on Join the Levitators on the bottom, and you can see how I have folks sign up with email, put in their text. I have a message that goes out right away. I have a text that goes out right away. And there's a whole journey that might give folks some more inspiration for their own pursuits.
Super cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us. This was so cool. And I am excited to continue watching your journey unfold.
Yeah, same here, Marta. I'm here for you. And I'm a big fan. So I appreciate you having me on. And I'm excited for your journey as well.
Thank you. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope this episode empowered you. And if you enjoyed the show, please join the Empowered Woman community on Facebook and share with friends or leave a review on iTunes so more people can discover this empowering message. Until next time, bye.